Hello and welcome to the Warm Down podcast. All of my content for July is sponsored by the One Football app. And on this app, you can get all of your football news. You can follow several different teams and nations and players and all sorts of stuff. And that'll come into your following feed. But you can also go into the All News feed to find out what is going on across the world of football. And it's transfer season. So, of course, you can find out what is going on with transfers. And it gives you a rating. And you're able to get in the mix and check out that rating as well. Romelu Lukaku to Manchester United. What's that one saying? So obviously it's complete at the moment, so let's give it a nice little smiley face. What's this one here? Marshall to Roma. Yeah, I'm not feeling that one. Let's give that one a bit of a down, not happy face. But again, it's not just about transfers. You can find out anything that's going on in the world of football using the One Football app. Get it on notifications and get the news early. United are playing LA Galaxy this weekend, and all of the stats and all the information from that game is going to be available inside the One Football app, so make sure you get it downloaded. Let me know what you think, and that's it. So make sure you download it. They are sponsoring the Warm Down podcast, but let's get straight into it. Let's find out all about today's guest. It is Webby. I think you're going to enjoy this one. Hello everybody, welcome to the Warm Down. Today I'm joined by everyone's favourite uncle. And if you don't know who's your uncle, go and ask your mum. It's our Webby. We're in town, we're having a pint, and we thought we would talk about United. And I think Wayne Rooney's going to dominate the topic in it. So we're recording this on Wednesday when the news sort of dropped last night about Rooney being a done thing to Everton. So this goes out on Monday. So there's talk that it's going to all be done by the time this comes out, isn't there? So should we assume it's done for everyone? I think it's done already,
Steve, to be honest. You know, like we were just chatting there before we started. I don't know, it's an hard situation because he's not played a lot last year. Don't think we missed him, but
a lot of assists last year though.
A lot of assists, but will we miss him as a player? You know, I don't know, Stephen. It's an hard one. For me, he's had his best years, but he's got to still be an asset for the club.
What, to be kept around?
It's some. We've got to see who we bring in, because for me, I think that with obviously Ibrahimovic going unfortunately injured, is it fair? We've got to have two at least coming in now.
It's got to be. Well, you needed to replace Ibra.
Yeah, and you know,
and if Rooney goes,
you can't rely on Marshall and Rashford.
As much as I do think they both got good futures, no, you can't. I think when Mourinho came last summer, he looked at that squad. The signings he brought in were banging, and he looked at that squad, and I think he went, I've got three strikers there. This Rashford kid, he can come off the bench. Yeah. I've got that Marshall. Yeah. I've got Wayne Rooney, because obviously he wanted Rooney a couple of times.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And he goes, I'll bring in Ibra. Job's a good one. Yeah. Now, when he got here, Wayne Rooney wasn't what he thought he was, I reckon.
Yeah, correct.
So I think that's possibly one of the reasons that we did as badly as we did last year, because I think he expected Rooney to have maybe 150% more than he actually gave him.
Yeah. So
if he goes, I still think he needed to replace him anyway.
Yeah.
So I definitely think we'd be in the market for two.
It's who though, isn't it? It's like, I'm not panicking. You see a lot of people on social media panicking, and it does get to you, and you go, hang on a minute. Surely Mourinho wouldn't have let Ed Woodward go and sit and watch the All Blacks versus the Lions if things haven't been done. Because if things don't get done, Steve, that's going to be thrown back in his face.
That's his job, man. Like, surely...
Because I'll personally brick him up in that shit house in J stand if he balls up this year, mate, I tell you.
Surely, like, Woodward's job is now. Like, the part of his job is now.
Steve, I mentioned this is the most important transfer window in our club's history, this one. Mourinho's had his year. He's had a couple of windows to look, and obviously he's been left with stuff he doesn't want, which is hard when you're on a big contract. And this was it. We got what we wanted back in the Champions League, where United have got to be. Now, if he balls up on this, mate, I tell you, there'll be absolute murders. I spoke to my inside man at Old Trafford, and I said the Wolves are knocking at the door, and the reply was, tell the Wolves everything will be fine, with a smiley face. Now, he's a bigger fan.
That's the fans. That's the fans that are flapping.
But he's a bigger flapper than me. For him to text me that, I know that there's something big happening. So I trust him. He's always come up with the goods before.
Oh, look how we pulled Pogba out last year, because I remember standing outside Old Trafford doing the full-time review for Devils, saying, this is like 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, it's probably not going to happen. We always get linked with these names and it never happens. And we pulled that out of the bag with Europa League football, let alone with Champions League football.
No disrespect, we're both big red, Steve, but 99% of players want to play for Man United, you're 1% of liars. You know what I mean?
Was it Gordon Hill that said that?
Gordon Hill said that, yeah. And it's right, mate. We're the biggest club in the world now, and we've got everyone going about this debt, but we're going to smash it money-wise. We're rich, we can afford it. It's just that debt what's hanging over us. But I really think that he's got these people. Mourinho's not going to have gone away and gone swanning around on a well-deserved holiday. Because if someone said to me, you start the season, a Charity Shield and 2 pots, they're not the biggest pots, but we would have took them, wouldn't we?
I think the qualification for the Champions League
that was
is
the main
one.
That was the one. That was the one, Steve, for me. We had to be back in that because I was sick of playing Thursday, Sunday. It was messy. I'm going straight from work, straight onto the door. I was done in. You know what I mean? And I always remember what someone said. I don't really like the clowns off Talk Sport, but it was correct what he said that Adrian Dunham. He said, nobody will win this Premiership who are playing in Europa League. It will not happen. And he was spot on.
I can't find it, but about 4 years ago, I think, maybe when Spurs was in it, I saw a study that shown there was a correlation between the distance you went in the Europa League and your form dropping off in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense on the face of things, because you're like, well, hang on, if you go far in the Champions League, you're still playing 2 games a week. What's the difference? And I don't think anyone can fully explain the difference, except to say that there is a correlation between, you know, you drop off in the league versus. Because maybe it's because if you are in the Europa League, you're not the top dog in the world anyway.
Of course, yeah.
So that puts a lot more pressure on your squad. But if you are going far in the Champions League, you can cope because you're good enough to go far in the Champions League. Maybe there's something to do with that.
I also think that people go on about it, but the extra day sometimes is a big help. If you're playing Tuesday, Sunday, or you're playing Tuesday, Saturday, when we was playing...
Yeah, sometimes Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday, innit?
Yeah, so Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we could be playing Saturday or Sunday, but you know yourself, United, a lot of it was going to be either a late Saturday or a Sunday from a Tuesday. And you had the extra day's rest, and you wasn't travelling to the deepest corners of Peru like you was in Europa League.
Maybe it's not on United. Maybe it's not on you yourself or whichever club's in the Europa. Maybe it's on the other team. So that other team's only playing Saturday. When they get an extra day to play you, they get an extra day to study you.
Of course, yeah.
Maybe people were looking at the wrong side of the coin on that one.
Yeah, true, but also the extra day gives a big help. But hopefully we can use that to our advantage. Like looking at obviously the kid who we brought in, he looks a bit of a lunatic. That's what we've missed at the back. And we're going about what do we need, and I'm thinking, well,
don't need a keeper.
We don't need a keeper, but I don't think that's. I still think there's something in that.
Oh, mate. Yeah, I'm not. Till he retires, it's like the Ronaldo rumours back here. Yeah. They don't go away, regardless of what happens, as we saw this summer. So the fact is, the kid was a Real Madrid player, but for a fucking email file.
Yeah. Cool,
so, are you telling me he's still with his missus?
Yeah.
That desire's still there. Me and McCullough spoke about it on last week's Warm Down, actually, where we said, Matt has only got a year left on his contract. Yeah. There's always them rumours linking De Gea. Yeah. Barcelona are after Herrera. Yeah. There could be all this Spanish clique that we've got here now. They could all fuck off at the same time.
Yeah, of course they could. I'm surprised United, they've got to start talking to Matt very soon. I can't believe they've let it drop down to this law. Obviously, it looks like it's just been totally forgot about. Class player. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Even though he wasn't playing permanent, it wasn't a first choice. Good output of goals and assists last year. It's just where does he sit in a Mourinho system?
Yeah, and obviously the people make scenarios of obviously he got rid of him at Wolves, and as soon as Mourinho come, he was the first out the door. And I bet he played more games than what people expected last year. He started the big games, didn't he? He started all the big games.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
So obviously Mourinho just thought the bid what United put in was too good to turn down, and he really rated him, but had other players in that position to cover, and he virtually doubled his money at Chelsea. So it was good business all round for Chelsea. It was great business for us, but
easy story for the papers to write, though, isn't it? When you've sold him once, you're coming in somewhere else. He's going to get rid of him again.
Of course, he is. Yeah, it's an easy story. Well, that's what I mean. A lot of those, my thoughts on some of the press people, they're just like pinching stories off people, and it's boring, really, to be honest. And obviously, this is their time of the year to make. I seen a thing on Twitter the other day with the picture of a plane taking off. And the headline was all the players United are linked with, and the plane was like as big as the screen. Being United, you're going to be linked with all these players, but I think obviously when do we go to America? Is it next Thursday?
The first game's the 15th.
So they'll be flying
there a few days before.
Yeah, so obviously if you want to get people in and get them on there, it's got to be done this weekend. Now the kid from Madrid there, they're up in an 180 million. Surely there's people better than him and cheaper than him, Steve, who and actually plays games, because he doesn't start a lot of games, does he?
No, he only plays against the shitter teams in La Liga for that.
Liga,
he did all right for Juventus.
Yeah, but Steve, let's have a night. That Italian league's like the Gorton Sunday League, mate. There's 3 or 4 decent teams.
Gorton Sunday League's good league. Well,
it's probably better than the Italian league. So we just got to wait and see. I just hope that we just don't start throwing silly money at silly players who... I only want players who are going to make us better. Not what we've already got. If I see,
what about Lukaku?
I'd have him all day.
If Rooney's going there to Everton, Woodward and whoever is missing a fucking trick if they don't
surely,
ask about him.
The dough they've spent, you're not telling me that they're spending Lukaku's money and Barkley's.
Well, they're talking, they want like 80-90 million for Lukaku, don't they? Which is...
I tell you what, mate, it's do you know what started it this year? No disrespect, I think he's an half-decent keeper, but 30 million for that young kid. And that's a snowball effect, what's going to affect...
Real Madrid have paid 45 for a 16-year-old. 45 million, I think it might be euros, but 45 million euros for a 16-year-old from Brazil. So when someone says 90 million for Lukaku, you go, that's like cheap, I guess.
Well, look at who was it the other day? Liverpool had after that player.
Naby Keita.
80 million or something, and then they've started, what was it? Don't drink Red Bull, and fucking hell.
Me and Dave went to RB Leipzig last season, and I want to do more of that again this season. Just go jib over, go and watch. Yeah, just go and watch whoever.
Was he any good?
Was he any good?
Yeah.
He was good. Yeah, probably the second best player on a pitch. We went to watch Frankfurt and Leipzig, and it was a good crack actually in that stadium. Considering they get a lot of stick because they're a plastic team, aren't they?
Yeah, they've only been developed. Is it 10 years? Is it?
Yeah, I think it is 10 years.
10 years, and one day I think that the owner owns another club, and they couldn't both go. They wasn't going to let them both into Europe because of the same sponsorship.
I didn't know about that.
But they've let them do it now. Apparently, there's another Red Bull summit.
Yeah, Salzburg.
And they're in Europe as well. And the UEFA weren't going to let them because it was both Red Bull sponsorship or something like that. But they've
got a handful. They've got New York Red Bulls. Yeah. They've got one in Ghana and there's one in Brazil. And then they've got Red Bull Leipzig. Or they're not allowed to be called Red Bull Leipzig because of the German laws. So they're called Rasenball Sport Leipzig, RB Leipzig. But it's fucking Red Bull in it. Yeah. And they play in the Red Bull Arena. They've got Red Bull on the shirts. Yeah. They do serve Red Bull. They serve Red Bull at the bar. There was something that
they both qualified for Europe and he wasn't going to let them. But I've seen it on the other day that it's going to happen now. So fair play to him.
Timo Werner was a good. I'll go into the Leipzig thing. So they started off in Division 7, which is like the Northwest Counties.
League, yeah.
What FC started?
Yeah.
So they bought the license of a team that was in there. Now, Leipzig as a city is like one of the top 4 or 5 cities in Germany. And it used to have a team. The first Bundesliga winners was, I think, Lokomotiv Leipzig.
Right, yeah.
And they went out of business like 10 years ago or something, or a bit longer ago, maybe early 2000s. So it's a massive, massive city in Germany that doesn't have a football team. So if all of the people that are watching them are from Leipzig, I don't see the issue, me, whether they're plastic or not. So they come up through Division 7, all the way through the Bundesliga leagues. And they...
Weren't you leading at one time last year?
Yeah. They went straight to the top. I think they ended 2nd or 3rd still.
Yeah, they did.
Brilliant.
They had a good season.
They got a policy of buying. They don't buy superstars. They develop young German talent and then sell it on. And I got love for that, mate.
Of course, yeah.
So the fact that you're linked with that, or Liverpool are linked with that Keita, good player, definitely a good player. Timo Werner's the one, I think, though. Smashing. And they play 4-4-2 and they fucking go for it. And the fans have a fucking right old sin song. You're like, how have these in 10 years gone from fuck all to having this really good match day culture? We was having a beer and a bratty outside.
What we could only dream of now at Old Trafford.
So one end behind the goal, standing up for the old time, couple of dicks at the bottom with a fucking drum and a megaphone and all that lot. Someone at United would get crucified if they tried to do that, wouldn't they? Because I think United fans think we're too cool for that shit. And we'd rather stand there looking all moody rather than get stuck in it.
Do you know what I thought, Steve? What had happened with the barrenest years of Moyes and Van Gaal? I thought this would have brought the day trippers away and the hardcore mainly back in. But I think
atmosphere-wise, Moyes' season was top.
Yeah.
Well, it was better than it was for the last few Fergie years, I thought.
Yeah, I just think the wrong people are not in the ground now. But that's football, not just Old Trafford. It's football. Well, it proved it for me. The photograph at Anfield behind the dugout of taking pictures of Marino when in years gone by. If it was Fergie, they were throwing pies at him and everything. And that's it for me, modern day football now.
Or when United tried to, anyone who knows United, this is about as much colours as I'll ever fucking wear. It's a retro shirt.
Yeah.
And United did a campaign last season, not the last Van Gaal season. Everyone gets the United away shirt if you go in Anfield. And they wanted to make it a wall of white, didn't they?
Yeah.
And you're like, Do you not
but they
know
sent it in the
fucking
post,
idea?
didn't they didn't put them on seats or anything. You got them sent in your post, and like if you're late from work or the post is late, you're not going to get it. Is it? I think that some of the ideas at Old Trafford now and other grounds are just absolute joke. And you may noise people, and then the boos are watching it on a Norwegian satellite. You know what I mean? And it's sad.
I don't know. I'd love to see that German culture, because German football does have a really good culture. When me and Dave went to Leipzig, we was in a bar from fucking 11 o'clock in the morning, and they had every German game on. So like, imagine Soccer Saturday that we get here with Jeff Stelling, but instead of that guy just talking about the games,
you'll see the game.
They'd play 5 minutes of a game and then play 5 minutes of this game, and then they'd have Munich on, then they'd have Dortmund on, and they'd be like, "Oh, this has just happened," and they were showing it you
like it does on Champions League when you can go to the ground.
Yeah. So it was fucking, and we were watching it all, and there was a couple of Dortmund fans in the bar we was in and that, and they was watching, and there's still smoking there as well, which blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
And then we go to the ground, and everyone's already fucking well boozed up, because they love a bit of lager there in Germany, don't they?
Nice.
And you can have it's safe standing, so everyone's having a fucking balloon. Yeah. They've all got these twizzling the scarves around. You can have a pint on the terrace, and not only can you have a pint on the terrace, they come in these mad cups which you can put in, like the handle was hollow, so you can stack 6 or 7 of them. Yeah. So you can carry a fucking 7 in this hand and 7 in this hand for all lads going back to your seat. You just think
you're not getting ripped off as well. You price wise to get in there.
I think we got ripped off. I think we ended up paying €60 a piece for a ticket. The face value of it was €15. We had to go through. I think we went through Ticketmaster or Viagogo or something like that, because we thought, I'm not risking it outside the ground to not get one. I can buy one online here now. I'm buying one online rather than get there and not fucking have a ticket.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But €15 fucking a go, and you're like, stadium was full, everyone was fucking bouncing.
How's it old?
40, I think. 44, 45 maybe.
So what are they in next year? Are they in the
Champions League.
Champions League.
So if we draw them, that'd be a fucking top away.
Yeah, cool.
Absolutely banging.
Probably
away.
draw them now.
Any fucking German aways are banging away, though, isn't it?
Yeah, correct.
And I think that fucking culture's gone at Old Trafford. I mean, you obviously remember a few more years than me. The first 2-3 seasons I was going was still the old Stretford end, and my dad used to stick us on the railings and then fuck off and leave us. And I remember that being loud as fuck. Loud as fuck.
You had the finger. Obviously, I started in the scoreboard paddock, which is now where the away fans are.
In black and white.
Moving round to the Stretford paddock, moving into the Stretford end, to the left side. I was a left side Stretford ender.
Left side was the north side, wasn't it?
Left side was the north side.
See, that's where I remember being. Just before the covering ended, before it got open.
Yeah, and then into United Road, then into the scoreboard. Great days, Steve. Great days, and don't forget, it wasn't as big as it was now. You'd be in there with 40,000, it'd be absolutely bouncing. The best night of my United life, and people going, I was quite lucky to be there, the Barcelona 3-0.
My dad says as loud as it's ever been in Old Trafford.
What a night, mate. I can still remember it now, talking sheet, getting off school in the morning, going down. I've still got the ticket stub something like £2 or something, and the noise that night. But don't forget, we were 2-0 down from the first leg.
To Maradona's Barcelona, by the way.
Maradona, yeah, burnt Schuster. 7 and 8 of the Spanish team. And then they just thought they had to turn up, mate, and then obviously, what a night.
Brian Robson.
Colossal.
Explain to the lads here about Brian Robson, because for me, Robbo was on the wane by the time I started properly understanding United.
You got to look at the Robbo scenario, is that he carried the team. We were a very, very average team.
Robbo, I interviewed Robbo. Robbo told me he sees Gerrard's career very much like his own. So it was a transitional Liverpool team.
Probably right there, Steve. But obviously,
which hurt me to hear him say, to be honest.
But if you look at our team there, it was a very good cup team. You know what I mean? We get to a final every other year, get decent players, but always balled up against the Leicester team. Our record under Big Run and all that against Liverpool and all that was second to none. We beat them all the time, but we lose to Norwich at home.
What was the crack with that season when we went unbeaten at the start of the season? I was going to blow every fucker away. Was it 86?
It was 80. Oh, no. Was it 84, 85? Or 85, 86? You had Peter Barnes left wing. And we got to City, beating City 3-0 half an hour, scoring an absolute belter with his right foot. Going all over, and then I think the match was, I remember going down to Luton when Luton had banned away fans, and we drew 1-1, and that was the 11th game.
Why was away fans banned?
Because the Millwall had smashed it up in the cup. A few kids got in who knew, managed to kick a door down and got in, but and then the week after we went to Sheffield Wednesday and got beat 1-0, and we took the ground, something like 50,000 there, must have had 30,000 heads in the ground. Got beat 1-0, Lee Chapman. Then it just went down. Robbo got injured a lot that year. It was a bad blow. But what people forget is that we'd won the first 10 games, but Liverpool had won the first 8 and lost 1 and drew 1, so there was only a couple of points behind us. More than likely is the second place team might have lost 3 or 4. Liverpool had only lost 1, and obviously they were right in our coattails. And to be honest, Liverpool was a good team then, but it was Robbo's injury. But Robbo was absolutely great, and it summed him up on that night. The Barcelona game was unbelievable. Not just him, people like Butch Wilkins was great that night, and Graham Mogg and Remy Moses. Everybody put a shift in. Big Norman, Bailey makes a save from Schuster and Maradona. You can't knock anyone that night. It was the best night of my Old Trafford life.
Stapleton in that as well.
Stapleton's got the third. Yeah. From Norman's knocked down from Arthur Albiston, another great player. I was talking to Tim Burgess last week. I was lucky friends with Tim and the Charlton boys, and we were talking about favourite United player of all time, and Tim went straight away, Arthur Albiston. You know,
you don't usually hear that one.
And Mark, the guitarist, Steve Coppell. You know what I mean? Steve Coppell was a great player. The injury he got now, he'd still be playing in today's day. It'd been fixed. But Steve Coppell, what a player, mate. I was lucky enough to see him. What a winger, what a player. And retired at 26, you know, it was such a shame. Same with Remy Moses.
He's one of yours, isn't he, Remy?
Oh,
see, I don't know a lot about Remy Moses, so I guess every other fucker don't know. So
Moses, hard as nails.
Centre mid,
but could play. You can't get him around. You know the one who reminds me of in recent years was Gattuso Rangers.
Oof.
Horrible, but fair most of the time.
I fucking loved him at Old Trafford, Gattuso.
Could have come when he managed the Scottish Bird, didn't he? Mates of Ferguson's family. Could have come, it was all there. You know what I mean? You've got to be hard to start with Joe Jordan. You know what I mean? You've got to have some balls to start with George.
He's only a little one, only about 5'8" or something. Fucking radio.
That's what Moses was. And obviously he got a bad ankle injury and he had to retire. Probably 27. Just got into the England squad. But such a great player. But nowadays you get your hardmen who can't play, like your Teddy Earlock used to play for Millwall. Your Vinnie Jones could lump him but couldn't play football. Moses could play the game as well.
But Robbo was also an hard cunt as well, wasn't
Robbo was hard, yeah. Robbo, Norman. Norman dropped back into midfield.
It was. I don't know if Robbo told the story actually. Was it Robbo telling the story? It might have been Lee Sharp telling the story about it actually, or someone else telling a story about they put Robbo in an A game just as Beckham and Giggs and Scholes and that was coming through. Scholes used to play up front, didn't he?
Yeah.
Little. Someone left one in on him. I want to say Burrows or someone like that. Coventry. Someone left one in on Scholes, and Robbo went and absolutely fucking ruined him. And was like, "Don't fucking do that to my life."
I remember a friend of mine, Ali Pickering, used to play for Coventry under Big Ron. Played in the Gorton Sunday League, character, big City fan. Was playing for Coventry reserves against United at Old Trafford. Robson was making a comeback from injury.
For a change.
Made the mistake of trying to nutmeg Robson. Robson said to him, "Try that again." He only tried it again. What happened next? Robbo just absolutely splattered him. Put him out of the game for 3 months. Don't ever try and do that again, dickhead, he said. That's the character you miss. I love Robbo now. I was talking over there about Ince was a great player. You know what I mean?
Ince was my first favourite, if you like, when I was
didn't
first
help
watching.
him going to Liverpool, obviously via Inter Milan, but hearing stories off people who know he worked there. He had initials written on certain things which the kids couldn't use, the governors and all that. And I'm thinking he could have been an absolute United legend.
Didn't he ask Roy Keane to call him the governor instead of Paul or Ince?
I heard it. I don't know if it's the keynote. You could be right, Steve, but you know what I mean. And he could have been an absolute. I'm talking. He could have been in the Robson, legendary, and the keynote. and then he had to go and sign for them honourable cunts. You know what I mean?
And celebrate
the
stopping
game.
us winning.
On the two, that was a 2-2 game, that wasn't it?
Was that 95?
It was a 2-2. No, it was the.
We drew 2-2 with West Ham, and they
no, I tell you what,
lost to Blackburn, was it?
No, it was the thing game when we was going with Arsenal. It was the treble year when Dennis Irving got sent off and we missed the cup final.
98.
That was the game when he scored. Sure it was. When he got the equaliser, he was looking, giving it and all that. But the programme didn't help, did it? With Ferguson was calling him Charlie. One of the United fans was thinking Charlie. Great player.
Yeah, Joe, I think it takes
for
you a
what
couple
we
of
paid for him,
years.
Steve, 1.5 million. Oh, was it 1.2? Right, steal.
I think you flip flop a little bit on your favourite player. 'Cause I've got a theory on who your favourite player is, and I'll ask you in a minute and see if it works for you. I think for your first couple of years of going to the match, you might have one or two different favourites, but I think then after 2 or 3 years of going, as a player comes along, and that's your fucking hero for life. So Ince was my first that I really liked. So my dad went and got a birthday card off him for us when I was about 8. But in 1992 we signed Eric Cantona, and I was 9, and from then that was it. And he is my fucking hero. So, what year was your first game?
My first game, Steve, would have been 1977, 6 years of age.
And your favourite player is?
Favourite player at that time?
No, your all-time favourite player.
Robbo, Cantona. It's hard, Steve.
So we got Robbo in 81, so that was 4 years after you started going.
You had people like, he was a good friend of mine now, he used to love it, United, Mickey Thomas, being a left footer. You know, Mickey wasn't there that long, but a great player. Then you got to look at Gordon Hill, and Stevie Coppell, and you know, Martin Buchan was a great player. You ask people now who's all time, obviously the older lot. Some of these kids don't realise how good a player Martin Buchan was. You know, he was a great player.
From what I've heard, like a Rolls Royce, like a Rio.
Class, mate.
Good on the ball, hard as fuck.
And imagine what he would be like now on these carpet pitches. Don't get they were fucking swamps what they were playing on.
Oh yeah, you see some of the highlights from United back in the day.
Smoke cigars.
Like no blade of grass from October to April.
Martin Buchan was a great player, you know. And you can go like, obviously then in the 80s, we had the likes of Strachan and Jesper Olsen, you know what I mean, we changed, and usually was coming to 4. We had a great team, but we always just lacked that killer instinct to believe we could win the league, you know what I mean. I don't think there was that belief.
Why didn't it work out with Atkinson? Because he seemed close. He's second and third a couple of times, and good in the cups.
Steve, but that second was a long second and third away from
wasn't.
Liverpool. And I also think you know that Liverpool had a great team in those 80s. It wasn't. I hate saying it, mate. You know my hatred for them, but they did have a good team, and it was like when they lost the game, it was fucking major news, mate. That Liverpool had lost the game, or you know what I mean. So I don't think Big Ron was that far. I just think that Liverpool were that good. You know what I mean? They never, ever did slip up like, but they always recovered and always won the league. But I think any other year, and then Big Ron could have been maybe this go down as a great United manager. I just think that the fact that time cup game
being second to one of the best ever.
Second to one of the best teams probably in British football history, which is you got to hold your hands up and say Liverpool was. You know what I mean? They had some great players. But we always done well against, and that was the more frustrating part for United fans.
But City always did well against us when they were shit though, didn't they? You step up, don't you?
It's like I fucking hate Derby days. I fucking hate them till a day ago, Steve. You know what I mean? Even when they were shit and had no money, I was always on edge.
They'd always fucking turn up, wouldn't they? There's one game a season that they bother for.
I always remember winning the treble. We won the treble, like, and I know now I'm probably only one of 400 to 500 Reds who went to every round. I went to the prelim in Poland when we had 400 fans there. Obviously Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Bromby, yeah. Sleeping in the airport, getting it over the head with a brush at 6 in the morning because I don't want to pay for an hotel. I was flying back early into Milan. Juventus, what a night that was. People going about the 99 final. But I always remember stood there with a mate who had been to every round with, and I don't know if you can see him on the telly, but when Juventus scored, they had water fountains behind the nets. They went up and they played, what song did they play? The Blues Brothers. When they went up 2-0 up within 11 minutes, 12 minutes, And I always remember saying to me, mate,
listen, they was the best team in the world in '99. They was. I don't think it was reigning champions of Europe or whatever, but they was that Zidane, Davids, Conte, yeah, the Chelsea manager now. They was the best team in world football. They were fucking top. Yeah, he was.
Who else played for him? Who else could have been?
I don't know if Deschamps was still there or he was
Deschamps
a couple
played.
of years early. Del Piero.
Del Piero played that night. I might be wrong.
I don't think he did play that night.
But obviously when Inzaghi scored that, and his fucking fountain went up, and I always remember saying to this mate, we're getting through it. I remember 2-0 down in fucking 11 minutes gone. He'd have come, and we absolutely battered him. And I'll always remember when Coley got the third goal. There was a segregation between the Juventus fans and the United fans in the area. I remember running into it. I was on like the bottom tier, and the police sitting me with batons round the back of my legs. Couldn't feel a thing. And then we actually stayed in Milan that night. And going back there and drinking this Irish booze was completely dry, and no one got to bed. It was a great night. Also, the final was a great night, but for the Reds lucky enough to go to the semi, with the scenario being 2-0 down.
Everyone talks about Roy Keane that night, but for me, that night again was another David Beckham fucking masterclass. Because I think he's criminally underrated by Reds, mate. I think he was a fucking brilliant player who loved United.
Yeah, he did, but Keane that night was immense. He said he could have gone, he just got booked.
Scholes' head went, didn't it?
Scholes had come on a sub, hadn't he?
Yeah.
And his head had gone. It was, but he's still playing in that. I knew it meant to the team. Beckham was always going to be like, because of his lifestyle, who he was knocking about with. Great lad, by the way. Still see said now and again. Seen him at Wembley. FA Cup final, a pint with him. United daft. What a dream that would have been for his son to play for United.
What a fucking career he's ended up having.
Hey, you can't knock it, mate. People say
the guy took football to America.
Yeah. And people just said he was a very, very average player, but...
AC Milan, Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, Manchester United. Over 100 caps for England. Won a treble with his borrowed club and his mates.
Where did it all go wrong, David? But, to be honest, Stevie, what he did, he wasn't going to set players on with pace, but he knew that he could ping a ball.
Could he?
You know what I mean? He could ping the ball, put it on the sixth position.
Everyone goes on about Keano's header. Who delivered it?
There you go.
Who put the ball in for Cole for that goal?
There you go.
Who put the balls in for Solskjaer and Sheringham in the final?
There you go.
Giggs scored a wonder goal in the semi-final against Arsenal. Who scored the first?
There you go.
It's a fucking belter of a goal.
Birthday that night, so a cracking night that, Steve. There was also going on about Villa Park. If you remember in the, you know what it'd be, 90s where BBC started putting the Sunday 7 o'clock match live. We drew Villa away. And it's funny this, and we're 2-0 down. United have took the ground, mate. If you go on YouTube and watch it, still brings goosebumps to me. It was unbelievable. I've got some kids there, outrun kids from Manchester. And there's a picture somewhere, don't forget at that time, I'm still working at United, security.
If you watch the Promised Land DVD, if you watch the Promised Land DVD, as the players are coming out from the tunnel, Webby's fucking standing there with a tie on.
You see my name on the credits. So I've got Mel Gibson's company who done that. I got a bit of a drop off him.
Mel Gibson's?
Mel Gibson's film company who done that, yeah. It was a year after we won the treble, so going back to that Villa Park thing, obviously, was 2-0 down. Solskjaer makes it 2-1, right, and then Ruud makes it 2-all, and Ruud gets the winner, and you can see me on the pitch. As the ball's come out there, I've got the ball, and Schmeichel was in next, and a booting past me, and he stared at me like that, and he's pulled me. My mate pulled me, so what year would that be? It'd be 2000 and... Before he went to City Villa? Or was it after? Because he went to Sporting Lisbon, didn't he, after United?
Yeah, it must have...
Did he go to Villa first?
Villa, then City, yeah.
Right, so it's 2001 then, isn't it?
Later, I think he did 2 years at Lisbon, I think.
Oh, did he? Well, whatever it was then, and he's looked at me to say, I know he's come. And he was in the pub once, and one of the lads said, I've never got this picture of him today. He's took a picture on his camera of me booting a ball in the net. And I'd love to get it, and every time I see him, which is very, very rare, I say, I'll bring you that picture, but apparently it's classy. You can just see Schmeichel on his oranges after Ruud put it in, and I've just smashed the ball and passed it in the net to make it 4-2. But there's been some great trips, you know. I always remember one of the greatest ones was, we called it Fergie's funeral at Forest away, third round of the FA Cup. And,
Robbins scored.
Mark Robbins from Mark Hughes' outside of the foot. And actually had all the bottom end. The noise that day was unbelievable. But the week before, we'd just been beat by Crystal Palace at home. And I think that was the one with the banner, Sarah Fergie, whatever it was, that bloke who made the banner.
Pete Molyneux, I think it was.
And that's what we called it, Fergie's funeral.
Another thing I asked Robbo when I spoke to him was, I said, give us a lowdown. I said, how close is Fergie to going? And he goes off the record, but I kept recording. He goes, I asked Martin Edwards myself, he goes, because I wanted to know. He goes, after he'd won the title. And then Edwards goes, wasn't going to sack him. Said it was the papers. But obviously, I was 5, 6 at the time. I have no idea how close he came.
To be honest, Steve, the football was terrible. The crowds were going down. There were some very average players. The club wasn't spending money. Nothing was coming through. And it wouldn't have shocked me if we would have got sacked. Especially after that. I think it was 2-1. We got beat by Palace at home. And we were fucking absolutely dreadful, mate.
We were just above relegation as well in that
I always remember going to a match, Steve, that year, the year we won the cup, played Millwall away. And if we got beat, we'd have gone into the bottom 3. We won 2-1. Danny Wallace and Mark Hughes scored, and Danny Wallace, we beat them 2-1. And it jumped to about 4 or 5 places. But if we'd have got beat that day at Millwall, we were going into the bottom 3. It doesn't bear thinking, you know what I mean?
Finest of margins.
And there wasn't a great load of United fans there. It was the old Millwall as well. I tell you, shit myself.
What's the crack with Millwall? Is the reputation deserved or what? Because I know my dad went, I think we played him in the 70s when we played him.
I just think it was the area at the time, obviously. Millwall had the name, where the ground was very shady, like look at some grounds now, you can't even fart and the coppers on you. But some grounds like Main Road was, that's why he had a reputation. All local alleyways, mate.
Yeah, Roma's fucking the terrace streets.
Terrace streets, you get away with it. But
there was a guy started on us down south once. I was in a bar. It was when I was in the army, and my whole squadron was in a bar, and a guy kicked off us over a pool table, and he was in my face, and he had fucking check shirt on, a big belly open with a load of tattoos on it, and he was just singing Millwall at me, and I was like, is that meant to intimidate me? I said, do me a favour, mate. I said, can you see everybody around here looking at you? I said, they're all with me, and he shut up and fucked off. But I was like, I don't get this Millwall thing.
I just think it was
like the guy who kicked off for the 2 ISIS guys. Fuck off on Millwall.
I just think he got that name because I look at like when United played Millwall in the FA Cup final at Cardiff, I didn't see one bit of them either. You know, now if Millwall, this was their opportunity for the football hooligan side or whatever you want to do it, Phil's game for me, to make a statement. I'm just hundreds and hundreds of United just outnumbered and everything, and I'm thinking, have a load of United old boys come out because it's Millwall. We'll have a little weekend away in Wales. I just think that the way they used to wreck grounds and all that, like they did at Luton, just to make a point with that day, there was loads of Chelsea were there, you know, and non-footballing people. So I just think that the people are not so shit. And then obviously we brought all these films out United, Millwall, this, Millwall, that, and fighting ISIS as well. I don't know, mate. I just think that London's one of those places, isn't it? You know, for me, I could never live down London, not if you give me £1 million. But these little
you're already getting a fucking semi as well if you get $1 million.
Of course you are. And I don't know, I just think that they've done a few things, and probably in the day they've probably gone to places and wrecked them with certain individuals, and they've stayed on that reputation for years. But what did it only get Millwall?
It doesn't happen, does it, man? It don't fucking happen at football nowadays. We see a bit, obviously you're at Hotel Football every week. European away fans seem to cause a load of miver coming past there.
Yeah, but
possibly because of the cordon.
I think the thing is, well, Steve, is it's that 5 years in prison, what have put a lot of people off that side of it, you know what I mean? Years ago, in the 70s and 80s, I've heard some stories, what Sam told me, about the early times. You just get a slap on the wrist and they let you know. But now, once the government brought that football 5-year ban, 5-year imprisonment, sorry, people shit themselves, Steve.
2 years ago when it went off at Arsenal, I was on bail for 9 fucking months, mate, with it. Nearly a full fucking year of getting fucked about, having to go back to Islington and speak to the coppers and all that. No action taken in the end. But it's a nose, isn't it? Like, I thought that. You get a fucking slap on the wrist and fucked off. But no, you end up getting fannied about. And if I'd have got charged, I'd have lost my job.
Yeah,
and that's what everyone's got to fucking deal with now, isn't it?
You know, if you look at now, you get all these stories of the hooligans, especially with England. They're all solicitors, they're all people with high profile jobs, you know what I mean? School teachers and solicitors. And then you've got to realise the shape then. I'm thinking, hang on a minute. I'm going to lose my family here, my wife, my job, for a bit of a rough and a tumble on a Saturday afternoon.
It's
and
fucking
on
madness,
Tuesday.
isn't it?
No. And I think they did well, like, because it's isolated, isn't it, now, the police and the cameras, and it's good because you don't go to the match. I remember going to Roker Park once, and we were United that season, forget what season it was, a lot of matches away we were winning 2-0 and got beat 3-2, we'd done the same at Sunderland. I come out there, my mate's gone into the shop next thing, I got about 10 of them trying to kick me head, they just beat us, they'd won, you know what I'm thinking, and then to be honest, it put me off a bit, going on matches like, there's only 2 of us, 3 of us, 2 lads are in the shop getting something to eat or whatever. They followed us up from the away and jumped me 10 of them. And I'm thinking, luckily I managed to get away with it. And I'm thinking, hang on, what happens if we would have won? You know, is it...
I get... Anfield's a weird one. Anfield, there is an intimidation at Anfield still, especially if you come away from the cordon. I've parked in the wrong places sometimes.
Yeah, you can do, because... see, the thing is at Anfield, I fell for it myself. Have you got the time, mate? And you went, man, and then they follow you. You know what I mean? That's why you get a lot of Reds who, I walk to the ground with food in their mouth, so people won't ask them, you won't ask them, you know what I mean, if you see someone eating.
Well, we come out the Anfield Road then, don't you? And they foot you off left down towards the station, down towards town, don't we?
Yeah.
And a couple of years ago, I'd parked on the other side near a pub called the Flatiron.
Right, yeah.
So you have to come back towards the Cop End and then go down that road away from it. So me and Ben have popped out of the cordon, and it's like gone from noisy and then just eerily quiet, and these groups of lads all with their hands down the pants, just looking at you, and you're like, fuck's sake, just wearing grey, you know what I mean? I'm not wearing, don't wear colours anyway. And you're just like, and we had to go past 2 pubs that had all spilled out onto the green gate. And I'm like, fucking hell, I was like, what are we going to do? There's a load of guys, about 60-year-old in front of us with red and yellow scarves on, clearly Liverpool. So I said to my mate, right, what we're going to do, just ghost right behind these 2, get a bit uncomfortably close like we're with them, and just have, like, be on your phone or something, and walk through. But fucking 50p, 5p, a little bit coming through there.
Right.
And at City, coming out of City a couple of times, I might have had a face on me because we'd lost, because it seems to be the norm.
Well, the thing is with City though, Steve, I won't go there anymore.
I speak the language though, so am I getting clocked?
What, you don't speak like a stop Fordian.
But
no,
you're walking out there, someone's like, you fucking Munich cunt, and you're like...
No colours on, I know, yeah.
That's probably why.
Because you didn't have your Ben Sherman on that.
And my moustache.
Yeah. But I've stopped going there, mate. I'll never go in there again. Hating with a passion. People say to me, do you hate more City or Liverpool, but I hate City more. I hate them.
I have to deal with City more.
I just hate them, Steve. I just hate them. They're just absolute clowns, a lot of them. They're going on with this. I just hate them, mate. I hate the Scousers as well, but just them, I just won't go anymore. But, you know, my lad Remy, he's just mad for going in. He has my ticket every year now. I never set foot back in the place every year. But the last time I went in there, Steve, was when Ronaldo scored.
That was a while ago.
Penalty, and I got legged all over the graveyard by lads who used to grow up with on my own hand and behind tombstones. I thought, oh, this for the game, the soldiers. Probably if it come to the match where we had to get something.
Title decider.
I'd have to go in then. But other than that, mate.
Do you want another?
Yeah, go on.
So that was part 1 with Webby, but we sat there for so long that there's 2 parts of it. The next one's even longer than this one, so stick around. It's going to be uploaded shortly.